What's going on, everybody? My name is Tenebrous Infinite, and welcome back to Generation Zero. For today, I've got my top 7 locations from Alpine Unrest, Generation Zero's newest DLC that expanded the map to Himfall Island. This map has some very unique locations built across it, and some very fun little kind of Easter egg style things built into the map as well. We're going to be covering a couple practical locations and then just a whole bunch of fun locations for you guys to explore for yourselves. So let's just jump into the list right now with location number 1. So the first location here is Hollands Church. The church is found just inside of Holland City, and this is a little bit of a throwback for me because I did a top 3 church safe houses in Generation Zero, and I gotta say, Oosterhallen is my new favorite church safe house. So what you have around Oosterhallen's church is these fortified kind of scaffolding that you can utilize for a lot of really fun combat scenarios. Taking on enemies from the fortified scaffolding up here is just a lot of fun and is really just an example of some of the great locations the team can put together when it comes to combat scenarios. Taking on all the doggos and any sort of hunters that come into the area from this scaffolding is very safe and very secure. And then alongside that, this church also has one of the best sniper perches of any of the churches in the game. What you're able to do is you're able to go up the bell tower here and hop out one of the windows to get to more fortified scaffolding. And this scaffolding is just an excellent vantage point for you to snipe enemies from and take on your enemies from above. If you need to get out of the scaffolding, you can kind of just hop up the corner over there, and it just provides an excellent opportunity for you to kind of get the jump on your enemies once you've got them all clustered around the church here. So next up, we've got our location at Sunnanval here, and this is a bit of an odd one, but I think that it's really funny and just a good little bit of character here in the game. So you're able to find this little lodging point with these strange soccer balls on pikes, and a soccer ball inside of the furnace, and a soccer ball on the oven, and when you open up this room here, there's like 1,000 soccer balls in here. I have no idea why this is in the game. So I'm just going to break away from the list here for a quick second to say that this soccer ball house is probably one of my favorite things that has been put into Generation Zero so far. It's just goofy and fun and completely unexpected, and I think that it would be awesome if in future expansions to the map we could see more locations that are just kind of fun locations. Nothing serious about it, but just something to come across and kind of scratch your head at and think about for a half a minute. But with that out of the way, let's continue on with the list here. So next up, we have a set piece just near Kopperviken Resort Village. And this is an awesome little set piece put together by Patrick from the development team. And we found that out during one of the developer live streams, and I think it would be awesome if in the future we could find out who is putting together some of these set pieces, because it's really cool just knowing that tidbit of information. But what we find here is a tick in the middle of a sacrificial kind of summoning circle, and this set piece is really creepy but really cool, and I highly advise you check this one out. So for the fourth unique location we're going to be looking at, we're going to be just outside of Oosterhallen City, and this is a super cool cave. And I really like this set piece because it's something that I had actually requested in my top 3 cave safe houses, to have a cave that functions kind of like a bit of a dungeon. And so this cave is genuinely really creepy to go through. What you'll find are ticks scanning the brains of dead soldiers. And if you aren't careful, those ticks will turn into military ticks on you if you get too close to them. As you head further into the cave, you'll find this really creepy cavern area with a whole bunch of flashing ticks. I'm not too sure what the ticks are really doing here, but it's genuinely a really creepy situation, and if you get too close to these guys, they'll all come raining down on you, creating a hell of a fight between you and like half a dozen ticks here. Heading deeper into the cave, you'll be able to find more ticks scanning soldier brains, and some of the new apocalypse ticks too. These guys are really deadly actually to deal with because of the damage over time effect. And as you get deeper into the cave, you'll be able to find this little camp setup. And I really dig this because, honestly, if I were in the whole Generation Zero scenario, I would definitely be doing what these guys did, where I'd be hunkering down in a cave. Maybe them all being dead is a bad sign for my plans. But as you head further into the cave here, you'll be able to find this mysterious red locked-off door. And I'm not too sure what's behind that door, but maybe someday we'll be able to find out. Heading towards the end of the cave here, you'll be able to find more of these apocalypse ticks, and you'll be able to find the western entrance to this cave. Now for our fifth entry here, this is hands down the best sniper location in the entire game. We're coming over to the Lucet commune, and at the commune you can find this kind of bird's nest tower, and this tower is in such a prime location. It's honestly hands down my favorite location to snipe enemies from, and you get lots of enemy spawns in the area, and also a very nice kind of setup for taking down a tank at an extreme distance. When you're up here, you've got a couple things to utilize, mostly being this plank of wood to kind of perch you up on the edge here. And you can snipe the enemies from above very, very easily. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you aren't completely immortal up here. The enemies can still actually reach you with their mortar attacks if you aren't careful. But as long as you're paying attention to your surroundings and you're keeping on top of things, you can take down all of your enemies incredibly easily and really show off the utility of the experimental PvG, or just the PvG itself. As well, over here in this kind of plains area, you'll be able to find a harvester and a tank that reliably spawn in this location that create excellent little bits of target practice for sniping. Now you'll notice that even the rocket doggos can't actually reach you up here with their rocket fire. So you're incredibly safe from all of the enemies down in this little plains area. Some of the tank's mortars can actually reach up to you, but because of the roof that you have here, you're genuinely really protected from any sort of incoming enemy fire. And when you're sniping tanks from an extreme distance, one of the main things to do is to just aim for the weak points that you've got memorized. A lot of times it can be a little bit hard to gauge how much damage you're doing to the enemy from such an extreme distance, but as long as you're just confident that you're hitting those weak points, you'll be able to take down the enemy tank down here very, very easily. Now, I highly advise that you use some sort of PvG variant in order to attack any enemies from up here, because damage fall off is a thing here in Generation 0, and the PvG has the lowest damage fall off of all of the sniper rifles in the game. Now, for our second last unique location over on Himfall Island, we're coming back to Holland for the last two locations. So this first one you can find over in the graveyard of the church, and as you head through the graveyard, there is a little shed over here. And inside this shed is another one of those kind of creepy little setups that you can find around the game. And what you'll be able to find is a hunter head that's been speared through. And you can actually interact with this hunter head and light it all on fire. And I'm just going to let you guys find out what happens when you let this fire completely burn itself out here in the game. I do gotta say though, it's completely diabolical. And now for our last location. This is hands down my favorite little unique setup here on Himfall Island, because for me, it's a total nostalgia trip. So when I was young, one of the big things that me and my friends would do is we would get together for LAN parties. So there's actually a LAN party over here in Hollands City of this radical looking game called Space Guy. I'm not too sure what Space Guy would do as a video game, but it is just a super cool situation and just totally reminds me of what it was like growing up in the early 90s. So there you guys go, my top 7 locations added in Alpine Unrest. If any of you guys have some favorite locations, let me know down in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and hopefully you have fun finding these locations yourself. Peace.